2, 3. Welcome, everybody. This is Dr. Keith with Dads for Life, and I'm so excited to be here with you tonight with Straight Talk with Parents. We're here every Monday night. We're going to come in at a new time at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific time. No, it's not. Oh, my goodness, it's a little earlier. 6 p.m., 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm just, Joey, I see you there smiling at me, but you know how it is, And coming back from the UK, I'm all mixed up with some time. But then I have my friend down in the Gold Coast, Australia. I want to introduce my co-host, my beautiful co-host in the area of Australia down there, Miss Ariel Wheeler. Welcome, Ariel. It's been a week or so. How are you?
I'm good. Yes, it has been a week. Of lots of ups and downs, but we make stuff happen. That's what we're in business for, right? To make stuff happen and serve our clients. That's what we do. So thank you very much for the introduction. I'm so excited to have Christina on board today. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I can't wait to hear her story.
Oh, my goodness. Christina is got a phenomenal story, and I just can't wait to get going with her. So if my administrator is listening, if she could step back in here with our notes. So I know I had some notes about Christina, but I think I left them on our counter. But, hey, that's the way live shows go here, right? So I'll tell you what, though, we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to introduce my guest to you because I don't want to take up time. She's so busy. She does so much in her life, and I just can't wait. So I want to introduce our guest tonight, and she is a beautiful young lady in her 20s. I'll leave it at that. And she came into our lives about 20 years ago. I was taken by her from the very first time that I saw Miss Christina Brown. And when I saw her, I said, there's something about this young lady. But little did I know that, and little did she know, or my wife knew, that God would bring us together in such a way to impact a lot of lives. But we did. And I just never lost touch with her. We love her like our own daughter. She is an amazing lady, but I'm not going to tell too much of her story because, Christina, I did leave my notes in the other room. Isn't that something? That's the way it goes. But I tell you what, I'm going to let you just tell us all about Christina Brown, and then I do have a few questions for you. So as you get started here, I'm going to find those notes because we have some good questions. All right, I'll be right back, but let's go ahead. Christina, how are you?
Christina, good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, good. So, Christina, tell us here on Straight Talk with Parents. We're going to talk about parents a little bit, or talk to parents about folks that are in conditions like yourself. But let's just talk from the top. You are an amazing young lady, and God's just blessed you so much. But let's find out why are you so special? Let's just hear it from you. Well, you're not going to tell me that. I know that. But just go ahead and just tell me, Christina. Just to learn a little bit about Christina, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Well, my name is Christina, as he's told you. I was born with a genetic disorder called neurofibromatosis, NF for short, which is, I have type 1 and type 2, which is extremely rare, I was told, at an early age. At the age of 8, I lost my left leg because my leg kept healing, re-break. So they finally decided to amputate. At the age of 10, they amputated my other my other leg at the age of 10. And at that time, I was very happy. I wanted it to go. I hated it because for me was useless. It wasn't there anymore. It wouldn't work. So we finally amputated that leg. And then as of then, I had up to probably about close to 30 surgeries as of then. And as of to this date, I've had about over 70 total in order trying to save my legs. I've had back surgery just to correct the curvature. I had surgery. The first spine surgery was probably when I was about 12 or so. And then in 2006, they actually had to go in and retake the new hardware in, because the old hardware just completely broke. It wasn't holding up my back anymore. And I've spent most of my time in and out of the hospital. I still managed to stay on goal where I needed to be in school. I never failed a grade. I've always had homework with me. Even if I was going down to the hospital that day, I was always good about taking homework with me and doing it on the road. I was in the marching band all through middle school and high school. I played percussion. the best time of my years in middle school and high school. I loved marching band. I can't hear you.
I know. That's me. I'm trying to get acclimated. I take a week off and I'm out of touch here. But so you were in marching band, and I know quite a bit about that as I watched you, and you were just amazing. So, Christina, you're a double amputee. I mean, wouldn't people say, oh, you shouldn't be doing those kinds of things?
I had the band director at the time got me after me for picking things up I probably shouldn't have been picking up, or moving equipment that he didn't want me to move, because with me being disabled and back issues and leg issues, I guess he was afraid. But once he told me to stop, I put it down and wait till he turned his back and kept pulling whatever equipment that I knew I could pick up or tag along with me. And because I felt like I knew I could do it. As long as I wasn't hurting myself, I knew I could do the work. And I wanted to be able to be like the other kids and taught like the other kids. And if they had to do push-ups, if I was able to do it at the time, I wanted to do push-ups. I did not like being treated any differently than anybody who had legs. Just because I didn't have legs didn't make me any different than anybody. I'm physically capable of doing it. I may have to do it a little bit differently than you would, but I can do it.
And yes, you can, because I was actually blessed to be your school resource officer. And I saw you do things, I'm going like, wow, the teacher probably won't even do those things, but yet you were doing them. And it was amazing watching you, even during the football games, and you were out there, you didn't care. You just did whatever you had to do to get it done. And then you were a percussionist. So, I mean, it wasn't very easy, right, for you at times. And yet you probably saw students who really, they didn't have any issues, supposedly, but yet they didn't feel like they could do some things, right?
Oh, yeah. I have people complain, oh, I can't pull this or push this equipment. I said, well, if I can do it in a wheelchair, you can do it. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have to figure out where to stand and pull the equipment. It's not that complicated. I just felt like they wanted to be lazy and not want to put any effort to their work. And, you may not be able to do it at one position, but if you turn around and stand in the middle of the equipment and pull it, maybe that's easier. You just have to figure out how to pick up the instrument or pull the instrument that's comfortable the best.
Well, I believe that you can do anything that you can put your mind to, and sometimes,
That's true.
I see people that just say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. But Christina, I was just amazed at some of the stuff I saw you do. And then how some students would do things that they didn't think they could do because they saw you doing them. So you were an encourager, young lady, and you still are today. You didn't think you'd go to college, but you went to college, right, and graduated?
Yes, I did. Got my associate's degree.
Right, and you drive a car.
Yes.
And some people thought you'd never drive cars.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Oh, yeah, I drive. I use hand.
Well, tell us what, on Straight Talk with Parents, what gives you the ability to do what you do?
Well, my faith, but also my parents have taught me to, especially my dad, he's never babied me. He's always forced me to learn how to figure out how to do things on my own. For when I had to wash dishes and I couldn't stand on my legs, he said, I don't care, sit up on the counter and get up there and wash the dishes, just scoot over and dry them, rinse them off and put them in the rack to dry. You can do it. I learned to sweep and mop in a wheelchair. May not be the easiest thing, but it's possible. I just learned even vacuuming. You got to be careful not to get the cord wrapped around your wheelchair, because if so, you have to get out of the wheelchair, unwrap the cord. I've done that a few times, and anything's possible when you put your mind to it.
And I think my wife even saw you cooking one time, right? You jump up on the counter and cook? Yeah.
Yep, I've done that before. I've even, when I was in marching band, couldn't stand on my legs, I'd stand on one knee in the wheelchair and still managed to play standing in the wheelchair and just having the great old time, not worrying about what was the issue at that time. No pain, just in my own little world.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, I know that my co-host has chomping at the bit to ask you something. He always comes up with a wonderful question or two. So I'm going to defer you all the way down to Australia. You get to go to Australia, and you're going to have to get on a plane right now, Christina, okay? Because my friend Ariel Wheeler,
Okay.
who is a brand specialist, she is here to help me tonight. Ariel, what do you have for Christina?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that little warm touch up. That was really inspiring. Thank you so much. Made my heart flutter. I would love to know, how do you find your courage every day just to get up knowing that you have this, disability? How do you find that courage? How do you find that motivation just to get up and just breathe through the day?
Well, I think about it, if I could at least change one person's view in life and make them see that there's always someone worse off than they are, that anything's possible. And I feel that's what I've actually have seen that. And I've had people tell me, you've encouraged me. You've showed me that what I'm going through is nothing compared to what you've gone through. And thank you for being an encouragement and keep going. And things like that, when I've gotten that feedback from people and not even realized that I was encouraging them, has made me feel, wow, just because I get up and go to work today, I've encouraged someone to do better in life.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. I'm absolutely blown away by that. Because, every day, as being a mom, there's always someone that's always waiting on for you. Someone's always there relying on you to, be there for you. Did you ever struggle with that, having to rely on anyone, or did you always have that inner strength to go forward?
Well, when I was younger, I used to try to rely on my parents some, but then my dad slowly started saying, he always told me, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and keep going, because me and your mother aren't going to be around your whole life. You're going to have to figure things out on your own, and you're going to start now. And he started that probably when I was about a teenager, that he said, you're going to have to figure it out for yourself. So start now. If I have to help you, I will, but otherwise you're going to have to figure it out.
Absolutely. What would be one message that you could give the world to help heal the world?
Don't give up on your dreams. Anything's possible when you put your mind to it. No matter what's going on, anything's possible when you put your mind to it.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Back to you, Keith.
Thank you, Ariel. Christina,
You're welcome.
what's the one thing that, I know that she just asked you that question, but what's the one thing that you've learned as a human being, throughout life, that all these issues that, you see people have, and they give up on life for the littlest things, the smallest problems. And I see you go through so much, and we don't have time for Miss Glenn and I to say everything we've been inspired by you, because you're just an amazing young lady. But what's the one thing that you've learned through all this that's going to carry you on through life?
Well, I've seen people give up on, like you said, on the littlest things, and that I feel sad for them. But I've also learned that sometimes when I start feeling sad for myself or what have you, I've realized, and I have actually met other people who are a lot worse off than I am with my medical condition, with the neurofibromatosis. I've, as of right now, been very fortunate compared to other people in the world who have been affected by this. And I've just learned, you gotta, no matter what life throws at you, you have to keep going, because if you don't, then you're just going to be stuck and you're going to be sad and angry with the world. You have to stay positive and keep going to accomplish what your goals and your dreams in life.
That you spoke volumes right there, girl. And I've got some things I want to ask you before we begin to wrap up. We have a guest with us tonight as a radio show, and he has a question for you, Joey. You can unmute yourself and come on into our show and ask Christina a question.
Hello. Thank you, Keith and Ariel, for allowing me to come on in here. I appreciate it. Really excited to be here. I just want to say a quick comment. Very outstanding young lady here, Christina. I've done stories. This is one of a kind. I have never heard a story like this one before, actually, and I'm happy I came in tonight. Thank you, Keith. I never heard a story like this one. All the surgeries that you had to go through and everything you had in your life, but you're still very positive and you still got a smile on your face, and that's great. That's awesome,
Yes.
and that's, I deal with chronic pain condition, and I deal with a community of people that deal with chronic pain, and they're very disabled, and a lot of them, can't get up out of a wheelchair, can't get up out of bed even, but this is the first time I heard a story like yours, and you've been through a lot. Your body has been through a lot, and it's amazing how you still got a smile on your face. I think that's awesome. I think that's great. And that's the will of the person. That's the strength of the individual, but it's also the people that surround that individual that also aid that individual into being the individual that they are. So
That's right.
obviously Christina has awesome parents. So there you go. So bottom line is, if you don't have that guide, to push you through, sometimes, it's hard. Life is hard. But my question is your biggest accomplishment so far in your life. The biggest accomplishment in your life so far. What do you think it is?
Well, I've started doing 5Ks, and that was for me to be able to walk a 5K and not to hurt too much or what have you, to actually be able to walk was a miracle, because I was told even for my high school graduation that most likely I wasn't going to be able to walk because I was going to have surgery to cut down the bone. And I actually proved them wrong. I was able to walk across the stage and everything. And I started doing the 5Ks this past couple years. And my whole goal eventually would like to do a half marathon and maybe a marathon eventually.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's great. I mean, you're very inspiring, very motivating and empowering. I'd love to actually have you on my show one day. That would be awesome, and highlight you on my show. I want to thank Keith and Ariel for, allowing me to come in here and meet you. I think it's awesome. When it comes down to it, a lot of us work together. Me and Keith, we're good friends. Ariel, I just meet you today, Ariel, but nice to meet you. And I'm meeting you for the first time today. I think it's awesome. I think it's great. You got an awesome story there. You've been through a lot, but you got a very inspiring story for people that really need to be inspired, especially people in my community that are woe's me and they don't get up out of bed, and you're that type of person. You get up out of bed and you do something every day. That's what these people need. And that's the key. That is the key. People need that today. They need that boost. They need that boost so much. I tell you. So, keep doing what you're doing. Keep providing that inspiration and motivation and empowerment to people. And always have that smile on your face, because it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that, my friend. You are an inspiring individual as well. Christina, we had an internet question come in. Do you experience pain?
Okay. Yes. I experience pain pretty much every day.
But you don't take any medicine, no pain medicine, do you, on a regular basis?
I do sometimes, but most of the time I just try to push through it and not let the pain bother me, because I've always hated taking any kind of medicine.
What I knew is when you were younger that different medications they try to give you and all, and you don't like to be on a lot of medication, right?
No, most of what they were giving me made me drowsy, tired, and I told them, I said, if you're giving me any kind of pain medicine, I better be able to function and be able to do what I need to do my classwork and marching band. I said, I don't want any medicine that knocks me out. I want to be able to do my work like all the other kids and participate. I said, I hate feeling tired all the time. I said, don't be giving me that stuff.
Wow. Well, folks, let me reset tonight why we are here. We're here with Straight Talk with Parents, with Dads for Life is sponsoring this, but we have my beautiful co-host down in Australia, Miss Ariel Wheeler, a brand specialist of Her Brand. And she is an amazing young lady. If you need any kind of brand specialing, specialist. That don't even sound right, does it? Brand specialist. Then you need to contact Ariel, but she will definitely help you. And we have our guest tonight is Christina Brown. She is a young lady who has been through a lot in life, a lot more than I've ever been through in my life. I've had a few pains and struggles and surgeries and all that, and illnesses, but nothing like this young lady. She's had over 75 surgeries, and she has had this disease called NF, but I'm going to let her come back in and tell us that again, because if I mess it up, I know I'll mess that up trying to say it like this long of a word. And then I understand, Christina, come back in with me a minute and tell me, I think you're working on something that I know Joey will be excited to hear, a book.
Yes, I am working on a book.
Tell us, what is it? Just,
I want to tell my life story and show other people. I just want to let people know anything's possible, and I want to show them from where I started and until now that I face obstacles, but I didn't want to give up and never gave up on doing what I wanted to do. And I hope eventually to even reach people all over the world, even show younger kids, preschoolers. I actually work with preschoolers at my church on Sunday mornings. And they've realized there is a difference, that I don't have real legs. And I've had a couple kids where, you got robot legs, can I see them? And they look at them, they're all curious. And one little girl, one time, she goes, well, where's your legs? I said, they're here. These are my legs. No, your other ones. And she realized I didn't have covers on them anymore. All I had was a hard plastic piece up top and a metal bar showing in my foot. And I didn't even think of that. She realized the leg was different. She was the only one that actually first pointed it out. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's my leg. It's the same leg. I just don't have skins anymore. And she was, oh, okay, all right. She was fine with that answer.
Well, Christina, you are just amazing everywhere you go. The little kids, we've used you or had you go speak, which I'll get to in just a moment. We've had you speak through our organization to a lot of troubled girls, and there was about 30 of them, and they actually shed a lot of tears hearing your story. Yet they did something quite interesting, which I've not seen them do before. They each wrote a personal letter to you, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And all of them touched me. It was really nice to get a letter back. And I actually wrote each girl back, handwritten a letter to them, to let them know how much I appreciated it and told them thank you for allowing me to share my story to them.
And those got back to them as well. So, here you are going through what you've done, and yet you're out reaching and teaching and involving and helping others. And, that's one of my favorite quotes, as my friend Zig Ziglar used to say, is that if you go through life he used to say that if you go through life helping enough people get what they want out of life, you'll always have what you want out of life. The other quote was actually one I created about 12 years ago that says, if you go through life helping only yourself, you'll go through life alone. And you'll never be lonely, because I know the friendships you have, girl. You're like, the only thing you keep pushing away are the boys, which I don't blame you there. So, we are looking forward. You are getting quite a bit of attention on the internet tonight, by the way, which leads me to a question that I want to ask you as we start to wrap up here. And I'll go back to Ariel in just a moment. So, Ariel, if you have something. We normally share a Facebook page or a website or your book, and we're working on all that with you and trying to help you get a little nonprofit group going for yourself, because you have an inspiring story, just like Joey said. Joey, I know what he does. He helps a lot of people, but they go through things and he helps them. And he come on this to hear your story, and now he's inviting you on his show because you have such an touching story. But let me ask you this. I remember when you came to our school. You were in 6th grade. You were wheeling yourself around in the wheelchair, and I think I had to stop speeding a few times, in the wheelchair. And
yes.
Always. But you just kept going. And I remember some students, how they treated other students we'd had prior to you getting there. Christina, even as a 6-year-old or 6th grader, 7th grader, 8th grader, and then as you went into the high school, I saw you change the atmosphere of our school. I saw the way you handled things. It taught respect to so many students. And that's why you're going to be a world changer. I've seen you change the whole atmosphere of how students react to folks with disability or students with disability at our school anyway, our school. What would you tell a parent? How could you talk to your kids about when you see a student that's having less difficulty or more difficulty than they are, or they don't have any legs or they don't have any arms? I've seen students with no arms, you know. So, I mean, how do you talk to, what would you suggest to a parent how to talk to their child about how to talk or relate to students like that?
Well, I know each person with a disability is probably going to be, I guess, feel different than how they want someone to help them. It's always nice to teach your kids, of course, not to stare, but also let them know that we're all made differently and we're all special, but always maybe encourage them to ask politely, is there something I can help you with? If it looks like the person with the disability is having trouble doing something, if their child can help them, whatever they're trying to do, even if it's reaching for a box of cereal in the store or holding a door open for them if it's needed, anything. I guess I've experienced different people. Some people are meaner and they don't want help, and someone just tries to be polite and helps them in ways. And I've had people offer me, I said, no, thank you. I'm able to do it. I got it. Thank you. But the one time I've been in a store that I can remember that made me really excited is I heard a parent talk to their kids because their kids were wondering, well, what's wrong with her in the wheelchair? And their mom said, well, why don't you go over there and ask her nicely? And they came over to me and asked, and I told them what was wrong and why I lost my legs and everything. For me to have a parent to actually tell them that instead of going, shh, don't say anything, or stop that, quit looking. For me, when I've heard it several times and I'm like, well, that's rude. You need to explain, or at least encourage them to go ask the person nicely if the person looks willing to explain their situation to them.
Mm. That's powerful. I mean, that's really profound. You would take time to talk to that child, and not only did you teach the parent something, you taught the child something. That's like when when I was full-time law enforcement officer, and I'd have people say, you see that officer over there? If you don't mind me, he's going to put you in jail. And I'd go there and say, I wanted to say, no, after I put your mom in jail. But the thing is I would say, is that we're not going to put them in jail. So don't tell them that. You know, I'd privately tell the parent, you're putting false information in that child's head. You know, so, but what you do is you spend time with that child and you talk to that child and help them understand. That's why you're so good with kids. I mean, I've seen you. Kids, they just swarm around you. They love you. So, unless they have a issue when you get them, discipline them or something, but but they know you mean business. And
yes,
Christina, you're an amazing young lady. I'm going to defer down to my friend in Australia to see if she has any closing comments or another question that might have come in on her end in that part of the world. Ariel?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Keith. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on, Christina, and also for Joseph as well. I think I'm saying that right, Joseph or Joey. Yeah, awesome. Great. So yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much for coming on, and especially to you, Christina. I cannot imagine what it would be like to live in your world and not be able to do the things that we consider normal, like hanging out clothes or, cooking dinner. I've got to give my hat off to you, because I can't even imagine not being able to cook or do the things that we do. And it reminds us about the fact how grateful we should be and how humble that we are blessed to be able to do all these things. And for you, not allowing that to stop you, you have that courage, and that gives me courage. And especially the story you just shared about the little child who came up, whose parent encouraged them to ask you, why this happened to you or why you look this way. I have a daughter who has this ability to share with people and to be able to open up to people, and being able to give that gift. And because my daughter's only 2 years at the moment, so I can't wait until I get to teach her, about the world. And just hearing that story, that gives me courage as a parent to step up. And if I see someone like that, not to go, oh, don't ask them questions, but actually to embrace their story. So thank you for teaching me that. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I tell you, whew, you are something else, girl. I cannot wait till we see a book one day, a website, a nonprofit organization. I just enjoy smiling. He can't wait to get a book, I'm sure. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from him soon to have you on his show and the Joey Giggle Show. What a funny show that is. All right, so we need to be serious too. Right, Joey? So we thank you for coming in. And all right, folks, that's going to kind of come to a conclusion this time with Christina. I think we may have to have her back, Ariel. She has got a lot more to tell. I know she hasn't told yet. And we're going to make sure that if you, by the way, folks, if you want Christina to speak anywhere in an organization with you, at a church or a business or whatever, she does an amazing story. And you can reach us here at Dads for Life, dads4life.org, or reach me personally at 4dads@bellsouth.net, and we will touch base. We're actually working with Christina, trying to put her in our speaker bureau to be able to go out and do that. So we love Christina, and she has an amazing story, my friends. So we all do. We really do. We all have a story. You know, we're not going to get through this life alone. Some of us want to go through life alone, but we're not. We're all connected here, and you know, it's about what we do to help each other. And this young lady right here, she's had a lot of people bless her, and she's blessed a lot of people. So, all right. Well, that brings us to a conclusion, and we started it out with the song Pharrell Williams called "Happy." And that's because of our guest is always happy. I think she's an amazing young lady. We will bring you more information when we get her website up and get her nonprofit going and her book going. 2017, we're going to give her a break through the end of this year. But starting the first of this next year coming, look out, girl. We're going to help you pour it on because you got a story to tell, just like Joseph said. So, all right, folks, this is Dr. Keith for Dads for Life. And my friend, Miss Ariel Wheeler, she'll give us a little Gold Coast wave there. And I appreciate our friend Joey, our guest came in tonight, and Miss Christina Brown. Christina, we love you. We thank you for being with us here on Straight Talk with Parents. And until next time, folks, remember, go out and encourage, enhance, and enrich someone in your life today or tomorrow. But make sure we start with our children because they truly need it the most. All right, folks, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.